Yo, YouTube, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is TimProVision. Today, everyone, we are looking at the Season 8 patch notes. We're going to go through everything, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on what is going on currently in Season 8. I am so excited that Season 8 is finally here. Season 7 was a blast to play, but I am ready for new content, and I think we all are ready for new content. So let's start off with the Season 8 patch notes. The new big thing, of course, is the new legend Fuse. Fuse is an explosive type of legend, literally. He's all about grenades and explosives and bombs. Going down the list here, his passive gives him 1 extra stack per grenade in the inventory. This is going to be honestly pretty insane. I'm curious to see how this will play out. He's going to have a bunch of grenades now, and grenades are already a little toxic in the game, so I'm not quite sure how this will play out. His tactical, the Knuckle Cluster, launches a cluster bomb that continuously expels air bursts and explosives. This thing looks like it's going to be really good. I know this thing already can kind of blow up rampart walls in one shot, and a lot of other items like traps and that kind of thing they can destroy very easily. So we will see how the Knuckle Cluster will work. It also does 50 damage if you stick someone with it, which is a lot for a tactical. If we look at like Revenant's tactical, that only does 10, so that is going to be pretty good. Moving on, we have the ultimate, the Mother Load. This is a ring of fire that launches down on the ground around enemies, and this also does quite a bit of damage. I think it's the highest damaging ultimate besides Gibraltar's ultimate. So this is also going to be really good. I can already see combinations of this ring of fire with like a black hole and a caustic gas. It's going to be absolutely wild. It's going to be a lot of fun to play. Moving down the list, we have the new weapon, the 3030 repeater. I really like this artwork here. It's very cool. This is basically a heavy kind of like sniper weapon. It's not a sniper, but it's a heavy ammo. It's kind of like a single shot, almost like a G7. It's a mix between, I would say, like a Hemlock and a Flatline. You can charge it up. It'll do, I think, 100 damage to the head if you don't have a helmet on. It's going to be pretty good. I think it's going to be kind of the big clip maker I see in the next few weeks and months. This gun is going to be a lot of fun to use. It is a single shot weapon, and I think it's going to be a high skill weapon due to the fact that you really need to be accurate with your shots, and it takes a little bit of a charge up time. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to use the 3030. Moving down the list, we have the Kings Canyon map updates, and they went over this last week, and we will quickly go over this as well. So looking at the Season 8 map updates, there's a lot going on with Season 8. They kind of made the map a little bit bigger. It looks like they were trying to bring back the map, make it bigger. A lot of the areas that they're talking about in the patch notes have to deal with the artillery to runoff area, I would say. It looks like that area is completely redone. We'll obviously have to wait and see about the rest of the map, but it does really seem like these areas are going to be completely different. You can see here the artillery actually now has a hole in the wall from where it was before, and there's actually a whole new area up there, so I can't wait to go check that out. We have this crashed ship here, and I believe this is Slum Lakes up in the corner. I believe that's where the ship is kind of coming down. Moving on, we have the tunnel that was actually going from artillery to containment. We can see that this tunnel has also been blown up. I think this is a good thing. This tunnel, honestly, I felt like was pretty underutilized, and it was really just kind of a pass-through now. Now it has some purpose, so I'm excited for that as well. Spotted Lakes, I believe this is also Slum Lakes. Yep, the devastation of the north of Slum Lakes. So now this is completely revamped as well. You can see here. I really like that the buildings, this area kind of felt underwhelming, especially to the west of Slum Lakes before. Down here, there was not much going on. So now this seems like it's going to be well more thought out. There's going to be a lot more fighting here. And you can bet if you guys want to try to get those 20 bombs, definitely land in this area. It's going to be really hot the first few days. Move down, we got some other stuff here. This is, again, I think just an alternate view of that Slum Lakes area. We have these sniper towers, which I guess come up out of the ground, so that's curious as well. Really kind of going to be interesting to see how those work. I think the only way you can get up to these towers once they're up like this is zip lines. So this might be kind of like a sniper haven. If you are a sniper, that might be a big thing for you. Moving on, we got the crossing situated down the length of the river. 3 Echo outposts set up to survey and test water supply. This bridge creates a clear focal point. Again, I think that's relating back to the sniper towers. And here they are, the observation towers. I'm calling them the sniper towers because that's going to be exactly what they are. Moving on, we have the explosive holds. These were the bunkers that were in the ground before. It looks like they are now out of the ground, so they got rid of those underground bunkers, but they still have the loot in them. So this is going to be also interesting. These might be like hot drops that people are going to try to land on to get some really good armor or weapons. It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out as well. They also adjusted a few other areas around the map. This area, which was near a capacitor, now has the building removed. I think this is going to be very interesting. Now people can't hide in that building. They have to go through this open area. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. It will make people be a little bit more careful with their rotation, so I do like that, but we'll see how it plays out. And that is about it for the map changes that they at least posted. I can kind of imagine there are going to be a lot of other map changes that we just don't know about yet. So I'm very curious to see about all these map changes. I'm so excited. This is actually one of the biggest things I am waiting for. Season 5 and Season 6 Kings Canyon just didn't cut it for me. Didn't feel right at all. I really kind of missed Skulltown, believe it or not, and I didn't really even like Skulltown. I just really think that not having that quarter of the map just really makes Kings Canyon right now or previously just did not play very well at all. Moving on to the new items, we have the legendary or the gold magazines. These are basically magazines where your swapped weapon will reload. You can see here in the picture, it's actually reloading the R99 for this person while they're shooting their main gun. It does take 5.5 seconds, I believe they said. So it is quite long. It's not going to be too overpowered. I know there's a lot of people worried about it with the dual LMG spam, that kind of thing. I'm not concerned at all. I think it's going to be all right. Quality of life updates. This is a big thing as well. The damage counter. I can't believe it's finally here. The game's been out for 2 years. We can finally see how much damage we are doing in games. So if you're pushing those 2, 2.5, 3K, 4K damage badges, you will now be able to tell how close you are to getting those badges done. And I am so excited for this as well. Can't wait. Pinging ammo, this is also a nice little thing. It will ping your ammo in your inventory and displays the current ammo count along with player wants ammo. So this will be a nice way to kind of tell your teammates that you might not be talking to, hey, I only have 12 bullets. You need to give me like 20 rounds so I do have a reload. So I do like this as well. Colorblind update. Healing and reviving will now follow colorblind rules when colorblind settings are enabled. I think this is good, of course. And lore blurbs and can skins. This is just a little bit of a lore thing on the skins in the game. One thing I will say, I was really hoping we would have got some quality of life updates to differentiate the different caustic gases and the different Gibraltar ultimates. I just don't understand why they can't be green and red for the different ones. I really wish this was in the game. It's not yet. I'm really hoping it is a thing that's going to be coming down the road. We'll have to wait and see though. Moving on to the legend meta, this is the second thing that I am most excited for. You can see here on screen we have an adjustment to Wraith, and it looks like she has her hitbox increased. This was something we were expecting. She's a little bit bigger now. She's going to be easier to shoot at and hit than the previous kind of legends. They did this with Pathfinder, I believe, in the last season, maybe even season 6. I'm not quite sure, but this kind of adjustment to Pathfinder, I don't really think affected him that much. So I think, you know, you won't really be able to tell that you're dying as fast with the hitbox increase per se. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. You know, they're trying to make Wraith a little bit worse, so there's other legends in the game. I don't really know if this is the right play. I mean, I really liked that Wraith was this really maneuverable legend, unlike any of the other ones. She might kind of just feel like a lot of the other ones now. All in all, I don't think it will be that big of a deal. It does say here, even with these changes, Wraith remains small and hard to hit. She will retain low profile as we monitor her usage. So they're aware that she is definitely one of the more used legends, and I mean, she has one of the highest win rates in the game. So that's why they wanted to do those adjustments. Moving on to Rampart, Sheila angle increased from 120 to 180. This means the turret can now rotate 180 degrees instead of 120. This is a good thing. I think Rampart definitely needed a little bit of a buff. I was kind of hoping this would be 360 instead of 180, but you know, maybe that's a little bit too much for them. Moving on, we have wall health in build phase is increased from 1 HP to 45 HP. I think overall this is a good thing. It's going to make SMGs against the walls a little bit harder to break, but if you have a sniper, it will still break the wall. I don't know if this is honestly enough of a buff to Rampart to make a difference. I was really kind of hoping the activation timer of the walls was going to be decreased again, so you can't just pop those walls up and be a little bit more aggressive with her. And they even say, you know, Rampart has remained at the bottom across our performance metrics. So it doesn't really look like they're trying to bring her back into the limelight of making her like the top, 7 legend or anything. So I'm not sure if this is going to be enough for you Rampart mains to really make Rampart insane. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. I think she will definitely be used a lot in the coming days, but I think she's going to kind of fizzle out again, which is a little bit unfortunate. I kind of wanted to play Rampart a little bit more. Moving on, Horizon. They increased the gravity lift cooldown to another 4 seconds, so the 15-second cooldown timer will now start when the gravity lift disappears. I think this is fine. And I know they said in the past they want the tacticals to only be used once in a fight, and I think this kind of makes it right in line with this. I was kind of expecting to see maybe the lift speed or the amount of air strafing to be reduced, but it doesn't look like they want to do this with her. I am okay with it because, I don't really like them nerfing stuff all the time. I kind of want things to be buffed so other legends can be buffed to match Horizon rather than the other way around. Next up, we have Octane, and it looks like they are trying to kind of bring back a little bit more utility with the Octane jump pad, make it a little bit less linear, I will say, which is a good thing. That's kind of my biggest thing with the launch pad on Octane. It's very easy to protect. Once you're in that jump, you're kind of going in a straight line, even though you do have the double jump. Before the double jump, there was the super jump, they're saying here, and that was when you're hitting the jump pad, you kind of get a well-timed jump, which would launch you in pretty high in a lot of momentum. This was removed when the double jump was introduced. Now they are adding hitting the jump pad from a standing position will launch players along a higher arc. I think this is a good thing. And then again, from a crouch position, players will launch along a lower arc. So I do like how they have two different ways to use these launch pads now, and I'm really curious to see how much this is going to affect kind of the play with Octane. It's definitely going to be interesting, and I can't wait to see, you know, if this is a super low aggressive horizontal launch or if it's a really high launch. You know, I'm not quite sure how high or how low it might be, but I'm really curious to see how it is going to play out. Moving on, we have Crypto remove the ability to stick arc stars to friendly drones. I think that's fine. Loba is now able to loot unopened care packages. I think that's a good thing to have to Loba. I was really hoping to see a little buff to the bracelet, but it looks like they don't want it to be an offensive move. They just want it to stay as a kind of transportation type of thing, which is a little disappointing in my eyes. Loba, in my opinion, would be one of the better legends in the game. You know, not just for looting, but for offensive fights. If that bracelet was buffed a little bit, oh well, what can you do? Moving on, Caustic. All gas now dissipates as soon as Caustic's team is eliminated. Thank friggin' Lord. I can't believe how long it took for them to do this. I think this was a bug the whole time. I'm a little disappointed to see that gas was not affected in any other way. I was kind of hoping the slowdown of the gas would be reduced a little bit, or just maybe the gas, how long it's out, would be reduced. Gas right now in high tier play is almost, you know, absolutely insane. There's pretty much every team has a Caustic running it in higher tier ranked and definitely in the competitive play. So we'll have to wait and see if they do anything to Caustic in the midseason. For now, looks like we're stuck with it. Mirage decoys create footsteps downs. This is probably one of the biggest things I would say for Mirage now. It was really easy to spot the fake Mirage decoys before and find the real one. So now that they're all creating footsteps, I think this might be pretty insane. It actually might be pretty hard to find these Mirage decoys. One thing I will say, Fuse can actually blow up all the decoys with his tactical. So this is going to be a good thing for you to keep in mind if you are playing Fuse and going up against a Mirage. Just one thing to note. Before we move on to the weapons, I will say all these legend changes honestly are pretty minimal. I was kind of expecting a lot more to be done with the legend changes, but it doesn't look like we're getting that quite yet. Maybe we'll have more mid-season. Maybe they kind of feel everything is in a good spot. You know, I think everything is in a pretty good spot now that I'm thinking about it a little bit. You know, other than Rampart, you know, all the legends in the game are kind of viable in certain ways. Maybe not for high tier ranked per se, but you know, you can use all the legends in their various and unique ways. Moving on to the weapon meta, fully kit rotation has been swapped out. They removed the Wingman Sentinel Havoc G7 alternator and they added the R301, 3030, Mozambique, Longbow, DMR, and Spitfire. I think this is a solid set of weapons. I'm curious to see what the 3030 gold is going to be like, as well as the Mozambique. I think we've had this before, but it's been a while, so that'll be fun. Of course, the R301 is back as a gold weapon. I'm hoping it has a 2 times, not the 2 to 4 times. This was a big critique of mine that I had back in like the season 1 and 2 days, but we'll see what that has when it comes out. Moving on, attachments, they removed the gold barrel from loot pool. I think that is fine. I don't think that changes too much. Hop-ups, the double tap was removed and the anvil was brought back. So I think this will add a little bit more utility to the flatline and the R301. I think that's a good thing. Moving on, the volt was actually nerfed a little bit by 1 damage point, and I don't know if that really affects it that much. It will probably affect the headshot multiplier a little bit. It's not going to affect the body shot damage too much per se. Just curious for them to do this. I guess they're probably doing this because they want the R99 to reign supreme at the close ranges, where the Volt can still be a little bit better at the longer ranges. But other than that, I don't really think there was any issues with the Volt, so it's kind of weird to see them do this, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. The alternator was actually buffed a little bit. Looks like it swapped damage with the Volt, and I think that's a good thing because the alternator shoots slower, so it does seem like it should do more damage than the Volt to me. So I think that's good. And then the Spitfire had a little damage buff, but the reload speed was increased. So a little buff on the Spitfire side. And the EVA 8 was actually buffed a little bit as well with an increased fire rate. I don't think 0.1 seconds is really going to do much at all to this though. And curious thing, the double tap was removed. So now the EVA 8 does not have that double tap high burst damage potential. So I'm not quite sure if this is really going to be too good of a gun anymore. I mean, it wasn't that great before, so we'll have to wait and see. One thing to note, they did not change the care package weapons at all, which is really surprising. I was kind of hoping to get the Peacekeeper back in the ground or swap in the Devotion back in the care package and bring the Prowler back in the ground. It did not happen. So it kind of looks like we are stuck with the massive spam for at least probably another half season. So a little unfortunate in my eyes. I think massive spam has been pretty bad in the game past season. And I was kind of looking just to shake up the meta a little bit, but looks like they are content with the way it is for now. Moving on to the bug fixes, there's a couple bug fixes here. Sonar abilities no longer stop Caustic's highlight vision. I think that is good. Other than that, most of this stuff is pretty self-explanatory. A few Loba fixes with the bracelet not activating. Rampart, jump pads, and Octane's Town Takeover no longer allow Rampart to play shield on them. That's good. Havoc fixed issue causing Havoc to have 100% accuracy when hip firing through Rampart's cover. I had no idea that was a thing. Holy crap, that must have been terrible. Peacekeeper fixed the POV issue that occurred when using Horizon's abilities. I think that's good. I did experience that a couple times myself. Clubs re-enabled the ability to invite friends from the club list, fix an issue, just some little miscellaneous things. So that's pretty much it for the main patch notes. So what do you guys think of the Season 8 patch notes? Overall, I am pretty content with the way it is. I kind of thought they would be adding a lot more changes. It doesn't look like they did so. Looks like they kind of spent a lot more time probably on the new legend and the map changes. Let me know what your favorite part of this new season is going to be. What are you most hyped for? It's coming out in just a day time from you watching this video. Thank you guys so much for the support lately. We have a lot of videos this week, so be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Your support means the world to me. And drop by the Twitch stream. We're going to be streaming on launch day and the day after for a lot of it, and I appreciate your support, guys. Have a good day. Peace out.